Coronation Street has set up Nina Lucas's exit tonight, following a misunderstanding with newcomer Sienna. Furious Asha Alahan pointed out some harsh home truths, forcing Nina to assess her life choices. Nina and Asha made a huge change earlier this summer when they decided to move into the flat above the corner shop. Despite their romantic history, the exes agreed it wouldn't be weird to live together as friends. Recent episodes have seen Asha dating her colleague Sienna, with their new romance seemingly going well. However, yesterday, Nina noticed Sienna's increasingly shifty behavior and wondered if she had anything to do with her missing money. In tonight's episode, Nina explained her theory that Sienna had stolen her cash as she was the only other person in the flat. But Asha was reluctant to believe Sienna was a thief. Their conversation was interrupted by the paramedic who arrived at the flat, with Nina struggling to hide his disdain. She immediately asked Sienna if she'd seen the money, while Asha tried to play peacemaker between the pair. "I never misplaced them. I know exactly where I put them, and when you were gone, my tips were gone too," Nina stated. Insulted by the accusation, Sienna denied taking the money, and in turn accused Nina of being a jealous ex. She stormed out, leaving Asha furious. Later, after turning the flat upside down, Asha found the envelope of money in the drawer where Nina left it. She suggested that Sienna was right about her being jealous, claiming Nina was stuck in a rut and too scared to take any chances in life. Last month, Gallagher, who plays Nina, announced she would be exiting the Cobbles to join the stage production of Silence of the Lambs. Speaking exclusively with Digital Spy, the star confirmed that she wouldn't be killed off on the soap, leaving the door open for a future return. "I would not have been able to deal with that. Nina is such a unique character, and I think there's so much to do with her. That's why I don't think her story is over," she explained. "There's her art. When she came into the show, she was really talented. I wanted to explore more of that. Obviously, there's the brilliant relationship with Roy, too. I think that's my favorite part of being at Corey, Nina, and Roy, so I hope that it isn't the end." Nina Lucas could be facing a major turning point on Coronation Street as recent events appear to be setting the stage for a possible exit from the Cobbles. The character, played by Gallagher, has been at the center of some hugely emotional storylines since arriving in Weatherfield. From heartbreak and grief to family struggles and difficult personal battles, Nina has rarely been given an easy ride. Now, however, it looks as though another emotional chapter could be approaching, and this time, Nina may finally be forced to take a long, hard look at her life. The warning signs begin when Nina finds herself struggling to cope with everything happening around her. While she has tried to remain strong, those closest to her can see that she is becoming increasingly overwhelmed. For Nina, putting on a brave face has become second nature. She has repeatedly attempted to convince those around her that she can handle whatever comes her way. But eventually, someone decides that enough is enough. Rather than allowing Nina to continue avoiding the difficult questions, she receives a series of home truths that leave her shaken. The conversation is not necessarily cruel, but it is brutally honest. Nina is reminded that she cannot keep running away from problems and expecting everything to somehow work itself out. If she wants her life to change, she may have to make some difficult decisions herself. And those words hit Nina harder than she expected. For someone who has spent so much time trying to protect the people she loves, hearing that she may actually be making things worse could be devastating. At first, Nina could react defensively. She may insist that nobody understands what she has been through, and that she has every right to feel the way she does. But once the initial anger fades, Nina is left with an uncomfortable realization. Perhaps the people around her have a point. That possibility could become the catalyst for a much bigger storyline. Rather than simply brushing off the criticism, Nina starts questioning whether Weatherfield is really the place where she wants to build her future. The Cobbles have been her home for years, but they are also filled with memories, many of them painful. Nina has experienced enormous loss, complicated relationships, and situations that have changed her outlook on life. Could she finally decide that she needs a fresh start? That is where speculation about Nina's potential exit begins to gather momentum. A departure would certainly make sense from a dramatic point of view. Nina has already endured experiences that could make anyone reconsider their priorities. While she has developed into a much stronger character, there is always the danger of becoming trapped by the past. The home truths she receives could therefore force her to consider a completely different future. One possibility is that Nina could decide to leave Weatherfield temporarily, believing that some distance will help her work out what she really wants. But Coronation Street being Coronation Street, an exit would never be straightforward. Before Nina can make a clean break, unfinished business could come back to haunt her. There may also be people on the cobbles who refuse to let her disappear without a fight. Those closest to Nina could become increasingly concerned about the decisions she is making. What she sees as an opportunity to start again, others may view as an impulsive attempt to escape her problems. That could create another emotional confrontation. Nina may finally snap and tell everyone that she is tired of being treated as though she cannot make decisions for herself. After everything she has survived, she could argue that she deserves the chance to choose her own future. And that could be the moment when the real Nina returns. Rather than being defined by grief or tragedy, Nina could begin taking control of her life again. However, taking control does not necessarily mean staying in Weatherfield. In fact, the biggest twist could be Nina realizing that leaving is exactly what she needs. A new home, a new job, or simply a completely different environment could give her the opportunity to start rebuilding her life without constantly being reminded of everything that happened before. The emotional consequences of such a decision would be enormous. Nina would have to say goodbye to people who have become incredibly important to her. Even if she believes leaving is the right thing, that does not mean she will find it easy. There could be tearful scenes as Nina finally admits that she does not know whether she is making the right decision. That uncertainty would make the storyline even more powerful. Because Nina may not be leaving because she has stopped caring about Weatherfield. She could be leaving precisely because she cares too much, and knows that remaining in the same place is preventing her from moving forward. There is also the possibility that the home truths she receives could expose a deeper issue. Nina may have been so focused on surviving the latest crisis that she has forgotten to think about what she actually wants from her life. Her future has been shaped by circumstances for far too long. Now, she could finally have the opportunity to shape it herself. That would give the character a fitting new direction and potentially provide Molly Gallagher with another major emotional storyline. Of course, Coronation Street fans will know that nothing is ever certain until the final scenes play out. Nina could change her mind at the last moment. A sudden revelation could make her realize that she cannot leave after all. Alternatively, a new crisis could give her another reason to remain on the cobbles. But the possibility of an exit is now difficult to ignore. The home truths Nina receives could be the first step towards a huge decision, one that changes her life forever. For Nina, the question is no longer simply whether she can survive another difficult chapter. It is whether she is prepared to finally leave the past behind. If she does decide to go, her departure could be emotional, complicated, and full of unanswered questions. And perhaps that is exactly what makes the storyline so intriguing. Nina Lucas has spent years fighting to find her place in Weatherfield. Now, she may finally discover that finding herself could mean walking away from it. Whatever happens next, viewers can expect plenty of emotion before Nina's story reaches its next major turning point. Because when someone finally tells Nina the truth she has been avoiding, she may discover that the hardest decision of all is the one she has to make about her own future. Coronation Street airs on weeknights at 8:30 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.